יונתי בחגבי הסלע, בסתר המדרגה. Shir HaShirim, Perek 2:14. O my dove, in the cranny of the rocks, hidden by the cliff, let me see your face. Let me hear your voice, for your voice is sweet, and your face beautiful. Shabbat Shalom. In case we haven't met, my name is Aviva Chernick. I'm one of the spiritual leaders at Beth Tzedek and also the artist in residence. At this time last year, I spoke about the lineage I come from, one of many healers, and that all of us, each and every one, are healers too. At this time last year in the Gregorian calendar, I was marking the 40th anniversary, I know you can't tell, but the 40th anniversary of my bat mitzvah. That same day, we were celebrating my father, Noam, Zichrono Livracha's 88th birthday, as he and my mother watched from home, where he was in palliative care. It was just a few weeks before he died. So I offer this drush in his honor. As I reflect on the year since my dad died, the world has changed. I am changed. Today, in this season of spring, this time of renewal, Chag HaAviv, even in the midst of grief, horror, and fear, or maybe because of it, I'd like to speak about love. I've had a lot of love in my life. I've had a lot of opportunities to learn about different kinds of love. And certainly my most formative learning was from my parents and their radical work in the world. If I haven't boasted about them already, my parents were the trailblazing, pioneering couple of marriage counseling and sex therapy in Canada. Their work led the way to conversations that were definitely not being had at the time about love and care and pleasure, about listening and being heard, really about ways of being in healthy relationship. In their Jewish home and at their table, as we lit nerot, candles, and we sang zmirot and songs, we celebrate Shabbat and Chagim, I also felt a strong, divine, loving, divine presence there with us. Darchei Noam. This set me on the path with the divine. We went to Israel many times as a family, which I also spoke about last year. And on one of our many trips, my parents bought each of us, it's show and tell, Exhibit A, okay, bought each of us a copy of Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, to share with our partners. Although actually, just a sidebar is, we bought them in December, and I noticed in the inscription, they gave it to us at Pesach. It was their wish and their blessing that we would read it to each other on Erev Shabbat, and as my dad wrote in the inscription, maybe also Shabbat morning too. If you were at the Shir HaShirim concert, the Song of Songs concert, you may have noticed that I am in love with this text and that I have a super crush on Rabbi Akiva. He had vision, and he was a fervent advocate for this gem that he insisted is the holiest of all our holy texts. And why this text? Within its pages, there is loving rooted in the sensorial, natural world. Within its pages lies a double-layered meaning of God as beloved with us and other beings as our beloveds. I understand this to mean that the divine source of loving is alive in every one of our relationships. So I'll be using different words for the various qualities of love, but primarily the word chesed, which I'm going to go to the translation of loving kindness. And one of the most intimate moments of chesed in our Torah is found in this week's Torah portion. It works out so beautifully I wanted to speak about it, and there it was. Ki tisa. So the backstory is that Moshe and God have been developing their relationship even during or perhaps because of the suffering and the actions of the Israelites. Okay, so the moment I'm referring to begins with Hodiyeni na et darchecha. Moshe asking, let me know your ways. He asks again, Hareini na kvodecha. Let me behold your presence. So I invite you to notice the loving kindness with which God interacts with Moshe in this next portion of the text. Here's what God says. Okay, I'm gonna do what you asked for, but I'm gonna go by you. I'm gonna make you know my name, Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh Adonai, and grace and compassion. You'll know me in all those ways, but you can't see my face, because no human can see my face and live. And here comes my favorite line in all of Torah, Hine makom iti. God says, here is a place with me. And then God says, here's what we're going to do. Station yourself on the rock, Hine makom iti, near me. And then I'm going to pass by, and then I'm going to take you, and I'm going to help you nestle into the crook of the rock, to the cranny. And then I'm going to be passing by, and I'm going to put my hand up so that you're protected and shielded. And then you will see my back. But you won't see my face because the light is too bright. But you will be shielded and protected, like the way in which the eclipse glasses allowed us to appreciate the moment without getting hurt, right? The divine presence is shielded, but that shield is permeable. The threads of divine presence will still weave through you, but you won't get burnt by the light. While in a Jewish meditation course, I kept seeing an image of the sun. And I wasn't really sure why, it just kept coming to mind. With delight, I discovered that I was not alone in this. Psalm 84, verse 12. Ki shemesh umagen Adonai Elohim. Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh Elohim is sun and shield. Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh Elohim, two names for the divine, two aspects or qualities of the divine. And then to top it off, in that same course, we read a beautiful commentary by the Piazetzner Rebbe, the Rebbe of the Warsaw Ghetto, who writes, sun and shield are an apt analogy for Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh Adonai Elohim, whose light is extremely powerful on account of the radiant loving kindness and compassion it contains. However, were it not to have some dividing screen, the world could not receive that love. And so I'm excited to present the second part of our show and tell. This is my new Talit bag. Wow, right? I love it. Wow, you could do that. Wow. Okay. Okay, so this design was inspired by the very moment of Moshe and the cleft of the rock, the pasuk from Tehillim, and the Piazetzner's commentary on it. So I collaborated on this design over many, many months, actually, during the time my dad was dying, with my uncle Alan Walensky, who did all the stitching. Right? Amazing. Wow. And with my friend and colleague Penina Hoffnung, who helped me to choose the backing, which probably took me about 2 hours to choose the right color, and she stitched the whole thing together. Also, wow. So here's a little tour of my Talit bag. Here is the shemesh, right, with the chesed, the loving kindness, dispersed, rays everywhere. And in front is an aleph, the first letter of the aleph bet, the first letter of the Ten Commandments, Anochi, the first letter of the word ahava, love, the first letter of echad, oneness, also first letter of my name and my dad's name. Also, you might notice that the aleph is the magen. The aleph is the shield. So here's the shemesh and here's the magen. But this magen, this shield, is permeable, I assure you. And it's it is God shielding us just enough so as to let some light through, enough to make our faces and our hearts luminous. So what else? I've included the color of the Talit. And within everything are the colors of the Mishkan. I can show you later for the detail. And here are the waters, ki hamayim asher mitachat larakia uvein hamayim asher me'al. So the waters above and the waters below. My name and my parents' names. So all there is to finish is the embroidery of the words, Hine makom iti. Here is a place with me, on the back, in a blue so dark that you almost won't be able to see it. And then inside goes my talit, my dad's talit, that I wrap around me, feeling myself embraced by him, perhaps standing together in the cleft of the rock. I love the cleft of the rock image and how it can hold us in the ways we are hidden and hiding, the ways we are revealed and seen, shielded, embraced, and wanting to know and feel the presence of the divine. So a year ago this May, I sat together with my family by my dad's bedside, singing and praying. I had a vision. I saw Moshe with his arm wrapped around my dad, standing in the cleft of the rock. And there he was, embraced by Moshe, by the natural element and support of the rock, by God's presence, protected as not to get hurt, but rather to be cared for and loved. Knowing God is living in relationship, loving each other, feeling and expressing kindness. So this may be with our lovers, our spouses, our partners. It may be with those we know and care about, or also with people we barely know, but with whom we can easily share small kindnesses. Strangers for whom you hold the door open, or neighbors for whom you bring in the green bin when it starts to rain. This is all chesed, all aspects of that glowing sun of loving kindness. I refuse to bend to the cynical notions that love is trite, naive, and idealistic. I learned from my parents and from all different life relationships, from our texts, and from the divine, that love is the center of the Jewish experience. Love is the ikar, the very essence of why we are here. Hine makom iti, hine makom iti, hine makom iti, hine makom iti. Here is a resting place, a holy resting place with me. This is our invitation to rest with the beloved in all we do. Won't you join me on this Shabbat Pesach in a commitment to love well, not perfectly, but well, in all the ways that chesed, that loving kindness, can be made manifest in the world, with truth, with patience, and with curiosity. Shabbat Shalom.